Hello guys, Auroth here and a warm welcome back to my channel. Before we dive into the topic of today's video, I just want to tell you all that I really miss you. I told you in a previous video that I started on a new job in real life and it takes up a lot of my time, so lately I haven't been able to upload as many videos as I would like to. I just wanted to let you know once again that I really miss you and hopefully I can start uploading a little bit more often again soon. Until then, I also urge you to join my Discord server. I post a link in the description of this video because on that server I can still hang out with you guys, and there are also a lot of knowledgeable players that are very helpful. So if you want to improve your gameplay, if you want to know about new type of builds, either I or other players will post them there, and it's a super cool environment with very friendly people. So I really urge you to join the Discord server. Feel free to join whenever you want and ask any type of questions you like. But with that being said, let's continue and let me introduce the topic of today's video. And I'm gonna talk about familiars, and more specifically I'm gonna talk about a strategy to get the traits that you want to have them all active on your familiar page. So if we go here to my familiar page and we go to my traits, we can see that I have 4 MAME familiars and I also have 4 Be Still Might familiars. And my favorite strategy when it comes to the traits, especially if we talk about PvE content, is to have 4 MAME traits and 4 Be Still Might traits active. And the reason for that is that the MAME trait gives us critical hit chance. And we can see here that on the right side that I actually get 8% more critical hit chance, which is huge if I have 4 familiars with an active MAME trait. And what's important to mention here is that you need 4 different types of species. So you can't have 4 cats with MAME because then they will not stack. So they have to be different species. And the MAME trait is the most important one, but what's so good about the MAME trait is that every familiar that can have the MAME trait can also have the Be Still Might trait. And we can see here that I get 12% extra primary attack damage if I have 4 different species with an active Be Still Might trait. It has been quite difficult to achieve this back in the days when the system was released. Of course, what you can do is that you can go to the market and you can filter it for the MAME trait and the Be Still Might trait. This is a little bit expensive and it can be not the best strategy for a free-to-play player, for example, but I'm still going to show you. If we go here to familiars, and of course now it's loading a little bit, and then I click all familiars, I go to this filter, I can pick traits, and then I choose MAME trait and I use Be Still Might trait. This is of course super simple. If you have platinum, you can do it like this, but what's important then is that you have to make sure that the traits are activated by the main attribute of the familiar. So here we have a bunch of Dusk Prowlers, for example. If we click here on this Dusk Prowler, we can see that the Be Still Might trait will be activated by Resilience, which is the main attribute of the Dusk Prowler, but the MAME will be activated by Agility. And in order for us to activate both of the traits on this familiar, we need a Dusk Prowler with both high resilience and high agility, and this is very difficult to find. So what we want to find is a familiar where the traits are activated by the main attribute only. So here this one is activated from agility, and okay, it doesn't seem like there's any familiar here right now that gets activated by the main attribute. So I would have to wait until I find that on the market. So I would have to scout it from time to time, and if you're lucky you can find it quite cheap here. And if this Dusk Prowler that is not legendary, if these traits would have been activated by Resilience, I could potentially purchase this one, and then I would just exchange the attributes from a legendary cat onto this one, and it would activate both the traits. If there are no cats with high resilience that you can exchange attributes from, I could take any other type of species, convert it with 2 cats, and if it turns into a cat, it will be legendary, and then I can exchange the attributes onto this one. But since it doesn't activate both here from the resilience attribute I would not go for this one. But yeah, this is the easy way, but there's now also a very efficient way to achieve this. Nowadays, since some time ago, we are actually able to gain these legendary traits on normal familiars as well. So if we look here on this Brute Talon, for example, it is not aberrant. Like this Varrock, next to the name you can see this purple symbol. That means it's aberrant, and previously we could only get the legendary traits onto aberrant familiars. But a while back they changed this, so now we can actually find them also on normal familiars. And this makes it a lot easier for us to acquire the traits that we want. Because now we can use normal conversion, and if we're lucky, it's gonna land on the traits that we need. Remember what I said, there are 4 different species that can have the MAME trait. We have the cat, we have the dog here, or the goat, we have the Quake Strider, and we also have the Brood Talon. And what we want to do is that if we start from the scratch and we don't have a single familiar with the MAME trait, then we can start from scratch. So let's say if I go here and I change the filter here so I only see the ordinary familiars. Let's say that I have this cat here, for example. This does not have the MAME trait active, and what I would do is that I use this cat and convert it with any familiars that is from one of the 4 species that can get the MAME trait. I just keep converting it, so I can convert this cat with either cats, dragons, Quake Striders or Varrogs, until I land on a familiar that has the MAME trait. And I want the MAME trait to be activated by the main attribute, because then I can activate it by exchanging attributes from a legendary familiar without MAME onto the one that I want to use. And if I am able to make a cat, for example, with the MAME trait active, then I'm finished with the cat for now. So now, after doing that, I will have a cat with the MAME trait active. And now I can start working on the other 3 species. So here, for example, I have a Quake Strider. It actually has the MAME trait, that's activated by the main attribute, but let's pretend that it doesn't have it. So here I have a normal Quake Strider. I already have a cat with an active MAME trait, so what I would do is that I would use this Quake Strider and I will convert it with either other Quake Striders, dragons or Varrogs, and then I will keep converting until I find a familiar with at least the MAME trait that gets activated by the main attribute. So here we can actually see the example. Let's say that I've done a bunch of conversions and then I ended up with this Quake Strider and it gets activated by Ferocity. In that case, I'm just going to make sure that I transfer attributes onto this Quake Strider to give it high Ferocity. And of course, let me show you how to do that. You go to this Nissa girl here in Westmarch, you talk with her, and then you click on Attribute Exchange. So if I pick this Quake Strider or any type of familiar here, I also have to put in another Quake Strider, and then I can click Exchange Attributes and they will switch attributes with each other. I'm not going to do it now, but I just wanted to show you where to do it. So if I were to exchange attributes onto this Quake Strider so that it has at least 170 Ferocity, all of a sudden I will have both a cat and a Quake Strider with MAME. And then I will continue and try to get either a Varrock or a Brood Talon. So what I would do is that I would keep converting Varrocks and Brood Talons with each other until I end up with one of them that has the MAME trait that should be activated by the main attribute, and then I just repeat that process. Let's say that I end up with a Brood Talon that has MAME, then I only have the Varrock left, then I will just convert Varrocks with each other until I get a Varrock with MAME, and then I will exchange attributes onto it. And voila, then I will have 4 familiars with the active MAME trait. But we are not ready there yet, because now I'm gonna keep these 4 normal familiars with the active MAME trait, but I'm gonna restart the process, and this time I want to keep converting until I have both the MAME trait and Be Still Might that activates. and it will take a little bit longer. It's a little bit more difficult, but it's very, very achievable. And after some time, I will end up with familiars that has both the maim trait and the bestial might trait. So let's say that I had activated this Quake Strider with the maim trait here. As soon as I'm able to roll a Quake Strider with both the maim trait and the bestial might trait, I will just take the attributes from this Quake Strider and move it onto the new Quake Strider to activate both of those traits. And when we're done with that process, we will end up with 4 species with the active traits that we want. And we are not really ready yet, because we can continue to convert the normal familiars, because what we also want to have is to have these utility traits. So if we look here on this Quake Strider, for example, I kept on rolling until I had both the maim trait, the bestial might trait, plus one of these utility traits. So I have the pack mule on this one. So eventually, if I just keep converting, I will have 4 bonded familiars with both the maim trait and the bestial might trait active, plus one of these utility traits. So I will have one of each. And this is of course a long-term project, but it's a very, very efficient strategy, and anyone can use it even if you are free to play. What can be a little bit difficult is to find familiars with a legendary attribute, and this might also take some time. If you are playing in the game, you will eventually find a bunch of familiars with the legendary attribute, and the legendary attribute is when it's above 170. So if we look here on this Varrock, for example, the agility is above 170, which turns this into a legendary familiar. And this is required to activate these legendary traits. What you can do is that you can go to the market if you want to, and you can go to familiars, and then you can click on all familiars, and you can put on a filter, and you can put a filter here for each type of attribute. So for example, if I pick ferocity, we can see that I will find a bunch of familiars with a legendary ferocity count. So this Myrgium, for example, it has 189 ferocity. If I needed to transfer attributes onto a Quake Strider, for example, I could purchase this Myrgium and then convert it with 2 Quake Striders. Then it's a 2 in 3 chance that it will turn into a Quake Strider, and then I can just exchange the attributes from that Quake Strider onto the Quake Strider with the traits that I want to activate. As I said, it's a long-term project that anyone can do. It's quite simple to gain 4 maim traits that are active, and that's the most important thing. It's a little bit more advanced and takes a little bit longer to gain both the maim traits and the bestial might traits, and it will take quite some time to get both the maim trait, the bestial might trait, and the utility trait. But as you can see, I've already been able to perfect one of the species here, so that it has 3 traits that I want. And this is a normal familiar. I haven't purchased it from the market. This is just through conversions. And if you play the game and you open new contracts, you can just keep converting. I hope that this video helped you a little bit and taught you how you can go forward in order to maximize the impact of your familiars. If we look on the main familiars, they can also have the traits. But here it's more important that they have the correct passive skills. So for example, here on my PvE pet, I both have the lingering wounds, I have the phalanx, and yeah, both of these will increase my damage a little bit. And you can see here that I haven't focused on having the correct traits on this one, because it's almost impossible to have both great traits and great passive skills. But yeah, when it comes to the familiars and their passive skills, I would just scout the market, because it's so much RNG when you're converting your familiars, and it would be better off if you just find what you need on the market. And the most important thing is of course to have lingering wounds on a PvE pet, and if we talk about PvP, we want to have Savior, and if you have that, then you're good to go. And yeah, just a friendly reminder, we don't want to have lingering wounds on a cat, because then it will not activate on the target, because it won't deal damage. So As long as it's not on a cat, it's gonna be great. And if it's on any familiar with high insight, it will be even better, because insight will buff the output of the lingering wounds. So just a quick mention on which passive skills I would like to have. The optimal familiar would have lingering wounds, it would have phalanx, and it would on top of that also have blue tenacity, because blue tenacity will reduce the cooldown a little bit of the familiar, and the cooldown of the familiar skill is 20 seconds, but it has an animation time. So if you are in a very long fight, after some time your familiar will be off sync with your legendary gems, and that's not something we want, because we want the lingering wounds to trigger exactly when our legendary gems trigger, and most of their effects also has a 20-second cooldown. So yeah, just a quick mention of the main familiar and what passive skills you should use. I understand that the familiar system can be a little bit complicated, but I hope that this video gave you a strategy moving forward in order for you to achieve your goals. And remember, when we play this game, every little detail matters. If you only focus on your legendary gems, or if you only focus on your attributes, you will not be that impactful. You have to focus on everything at once, and when we do so, the game also becomes a lot more fun, because we will feel like we are progressing a lot faster. And if you are focusing on every detail of your setup, you will be 2 or 3 times stronger compared to if you're only trying to optimize your legendary gem setup, for example. So it's very important to understand these mechanics and how to utilize them properly. If you have any type of questions, please feel free to write in the comments. You can also post any questions on the Discord server that I mentioned in the beginning of this video. If you really want to take it far, on my Discord server you can also read about one-to-one sessions that I'm doing. So if you want me to make a progression plan for your character, I will go through every single stat line and I will tell you exactly what you have to do, what you have to change. And if you do that, in most cases you will deal double the damage after 1 week already. It doesn't matter if you are a newer player or if you are a veteran. Most of my sessions leads to very high output gains. So if you're interested, please read about my one-on-one sessions on my Discord server and just reach out to me and we can book a time for your session. And yeah, I also want to thank all of you for tuning in. And before we say goodbye, as I said in the beginning, I've really missed you guys. I hope that I can upload some more videos again soon. And until next time, I want to wish you a very nice day or a very nice evening wherever you are. And to all of my clan members in Nyx, I would of course also like to say Voruk Nyx, Sholak Sol. So, bye bye!
If a boy or if a girl,
subscribe to Auroth's channel.
let him take you to his world.
Subscribe to Auroth's channel.
The best choice you will ever make.
Subscribe to Auroth's channel.
Hit the bell, a piece of cake.
Subscribe to Auroth's channel.
Let me tell you one more time.
Subscribe to Auroth's channel.
All the answers you will find.
Subscribe to Auroth's channel.